Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, the podcast about music news and interviews. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie.
We're finally here. This is our When We Were Young recap, our weekend in Vegas, spent at a festival for 2 days, interviewing and watching all of the bands of our childhood and all the money we spent to get there.
I think comparatively, we came out a little bit better on the budgeting end because at least we did have one day technically, quote unquote, free.
Technically, yes, if free is delicious water and bands you love in the tent with you drinking delicious water.
Some people would constitute that as a win.
Yes, it was for day one when you like get free waters and you don't have to spend $8 on a liquid death from a tent. So yes, it is. Ghost Energy, please sponsor the tent next year. I'll give you anything. We have a bunch of interviews. We got 10 interviews with 10 different bands that we talked to at the festival. We were once again in the press tent and got to speak to some of our favorite acts from this year, some people that we've been trying to get on the podcast for a long time, some bands that Lizzie absolutely talked way too much shit about, and bands that we just loved before, and now we love even more after speaking to them.
You know, I think it's crazy that on the internet we can all have opinions, and then people take them way too seriously from two bozos on the internet that
And
they
the
do not
bands
know.
don't.
Yeah, these bands have had so much worse probably said to their faces rather than just online over so many years. Especially some of these bands that have been around for 20 plus years. I really doubt they care.
They don't care.
To an extent.
The fans care so much more. Y'all out there love this shit way more than the bands care about it. And thank you. Please keep commenting. We mean all of this. This is our authentic feelings.
Yeah, we're not doing it for clickbait. We were asked that though.
Yep.
So It's all authentic. When I say I hate something with my whole ass chest, that's what I mean.
We mean it. Stay tuned. We got 10 interviews. We got a bunch of different people that we talked to. I'm not going to list them all off for you. You can read the description. Just check them all out. It's a bunch of bands that you know we love and you love. So listen, pay attention.
Listen to all of them, but if you want to listen to a specific one, all the time codes are down in the show notes, so you can jump to whatever interview you want to listen to. But listen to all of them because they were all great.
And over on our YouTube, we're dropping these throughout the week, all as individual episodes. So you can just pick which one, but get excited because they're all dropping in different days. So it's like a week of treats. It's Halloween week of treats is what I'm calling it.
You all get little treats to help you get through the week. And you know what? That's all we can ask for in life.
All right, Lizzie, before we get into those interviews, tell us a little bit about your top bands that you saw this weekend at When We Were Young Fest.
So Saturday was almost a complete wash, as you also know, because we were in a media tent for forever. One of the bands I was able to see for only 30 minutes, but it was a fantastic 30 minutes, was Anberlin. Mm-hmm. They brought out Stephen Christian on stage. We know Maddie Mullins is the new lead singer currently. So I was standing there like, and that's what happened. I made that sound and I was just standing there by myself, aghast. I got through the middle and the butt end of Never Take Friendship Personal, and I felt pretty happy with that before I had to come back and we had to continue with interviews. So I will say that was probably one of my top performances for sure, as well as 303. On Sunday, I was able to actually move up and stay for their entire set, which was really great. And while we even saw them at the sideshow that Thursday, it was still nice to see them in that fest environment playing All of Want in its entirety, and then seeing a bunch of people also just be super stoked at the same time. I did end up also catching Mayday Parade with one of my friends as well, and actually stayed for a majority of their set. And I still stand by, they are really good performers. So I wasn't mad as watching them.
Good. I saw the Chiodos reunion, which is the Craig show. No original members besides Craig Owens. Unfortunately, that set was really good. Like, I'm mad about it, but it's also a really good set. So all the credit to that band doing it again. I guess I'm sure I'll see them on their anniversary tour that they announced when they were on stage. Sunday, I watched mostly the bands in the small tent area because that's where a lot of the ones I wanted to watch were. And I gotta say, Wonder Years every time they bring it, it was incredible. I don't know what it was about this time seeing it, but it was an incredible set. It was an incredible show. The Wonder Years is always worth your time. And I also watched Devil Wears Prada, and I also watched Atreyu in there. Had a great time at both. Really mashed up in that pit, just going ham on it. Loved it. Main stage, I gotta say, the top two bands of the day for me on both days on the main stage were A Day to Remember, playing Homesick, really good, and Pierce the Veil really blew me away. Like, what a show.
I've heard a lot of good. I walked by for both Pierce the Veil days. I only caught like maybe 2 or 3 songs at different intervals too. So it wasn't just like here's King for the Day and then a couple other songs. It was at like the start or at the end, middle of the album. And it was from because I was always in the back, and I feel like that sometimes harms how much you can actually like see and be immersed in a show too, in my personal perspective. But it was really engaging and good.
It's really good. They brought out all the guests from the record as expected. Really good. Jason Allen Butler on stage, jumping around. I'm like, damn, I miss you, bro. I miss that Let Live. I miss that Fever 333
Come
show.
back.
Yeah. Very good all around. I was very impressed by a lot of the bands putting on really good shows. I think the bands took it under their consideration to make it a good show and not just necessarily play the record front to back sometimes. A lot of bands cut their set, but they all did a really good job with what they were given, and they all played to the audience and played to their strengths. And Coheed, I will see you when you can play the full record in order, because I
Oh my
really want
god.
to see that instead of that set. But I still loved it. It was great.
I mean, Fall Out Boy did good too both nights. I tried to see a little bit of Hey Monday on Sunday, but then I heard them play Get Busy Livin', and I just immediately sprinted to get to Fall Out Boy because I'm like, they're playing a different set. I have to be here. And they brought out Wiz Khalifa the first night and Travie McCoy the second night for Cupid's Chokehold, and I lost my mind. They always just put on a really great set and a
Oh,
really good
do you like
show.
the Fall Out Boy show at the Fall Out Boy show with the Fall Out Boy songs with the Fall Out Boy
Yeah, it's
songs?
so crazy. Can you
Yeah.
believe that they played the Fall Out Boy songs
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, I bet.
Hmm. Now, Brian, we had really good bands, but what was the worst band that you saw this weekend?
It was My Chemical Romance somehow.
Wow, that's so perplexing and highly
Shocking,
concerning.
surprising. Here's the thing. Like, it's been a little bit of time since the show. People have seen it. They saw that it was basically just a white backdrop with them doing shadow play in front of a white backdrop. And some people have come out and they've said, it's German impressionist film, and it's like all these things that Gerard was influenced by when he was making the Black Parade. And for me, I'm like, I want Big Dumb Rock show, do fire, do lights, do all cool stuff. When they played Disenchanted and there was a flower video on screen, I felt insulted. I felt like this is amateur. This is a band that is making a ton of money to sell this show, and they used it on a flower video that I could have gotten from a stock video website. I did not appreciate in the context of what they're creating. It sounded great. They put on, the album. They played the record. They played 2 other songs at the end of it. It could have played longer, but whatever you got to do, man. It just felt very slighting from a band that you assume cares so much about the audience and about what they do as their art to do what is very, to me, easy, lame, uncharacteristic of the record that they're playing. Just felt very like, we made our money. We are here so we don't get fined. We're going home. Very disappointing.
Looking at it, the setup of the stage, we were so far back both nights that I saw them. And they didn't have the speakers turned on in the back, so you could hardly hear it. You were like stretching to hear what was happening on stage, which wasn't great. And then when we're looking at the actual screen, it's all in black and white, which aesthetically fine, but there's a lot of flashing, and it's hard to watch and see when you are that far back and everyone looks like ants and I'm 5'1.5" and I can't see over people's heads. So I'm relying on these screens to see and to understand what's happening. It just wasn't my favorite set that I also have seen by My Chemical Romance, because I've seen them do things that are so much more fantastical, more when they have come back, because that's when I have seen them, is like the return show was great. It was so thematical, and it was an absolutely great way to usher them back in. When they played When We Were Young Fest the first year, first night that I saw them, they were all in like old men makeup and they were really committing to the bit. It's just I understand all this different type of art, brutalism or whatever it may be, but if I'm expecting the Black Parade in full, I do need a little bit more oomph. And I think what's also kind of like silly is that in some of the When We Were Young Fest like groups that I am in, a lot of people are commenting, do you think Fall Out Boy purposely did their big theatrics with like shooting off fireworks and doing all these things at the end of their set because Mike Kemp played immediately afterwards? Do you think they did it to slight them? And I'm like, I don't think so, because that is just Fall Out Boy being Fall Out Boy playing their Fall Out Boy set. But then there were some people saying, well, you know, they could have just not done that because Mike Kemp didn't have fireworks at the end of their set when they ended with Helena. They just said, okay,
They could
bye.
have. They could have had him. They could have had it. It all could have happened. I think that they chose not to. And no matter what the inspiration was, no matter what their thought process was on how they were going to do their set, that impacts the fans. I don't care if you're like trying to do something for another band. I don't care if you're trying to like make a point, make a statement, make whatever. If your fans are paying a lot of money and you're doing shadow puppets in front of a bed sheet, it's like, I've already, done these shows in my room for years. I don't need to see that at a major American music festival.
We literally have it at home.
Lizzie, I'm gonna tell you a story.
Damn, okay, let's get into it.
This happened to me. So I on Friday night I did Emo Night LA at the Zook. We DJ'd outside of the Zook nightclub at Resort World and then went inside to DJ there. And I was on stage in one of the booths with Millionaires, one of the greatest groups of people that I've had the pleasure of working with in the music industry. They're incredible people. They're so nice. They took care of me when they absolutely did not have to. Everybody on their team, big ups, big props to all of you. Appreciate you very much. So I'm hanging out in their booth. I'm drinking a little bit of their alcohol. I'm having a great time. It's been a long day, a day that I did not expect to be as long as it was, but I had a long Friday until 4 a.m. when we had to be at the fest at 10 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, we did.
And who happens to walk by me but Andy Hurley, drummer of Fall Out Boy. Now, I may never have a chance in my life to speak to a Fall Out Boy. I don't know. And in this moment, I say I have to take my opportunity. I have to take this chance. And I think, what am I going to say to a Fall Out Boy? And I look him dead in the eye and I say, I'm Chicago.
Arguably, maybe the best thing you've said to somebody all weekend.
I was so like taken in and of my brain. Like, I cannot form words to a Fall Out Boy. I just don't know what to say to him. It's like, do you know what you've written? Do you know the music you've been a part of? Do you know the scene? Do you know the culture? Do you know what you've created? And what am I to say to him besides, I'm from Chicago, to a guy who's from Milwaukee? He doesn't even give a shit.
I mean, he's close by. It's down the street, essentially. But I mean, as somebody who has talked to 2 whole Fall Out Boys in my life, I have never said I am Chicago. I have said,
well, you're Naperville.
All right, let's calm down here.
Can't say that.
Let's calm down here. But I would say I love your music. Yeah.
That would be better, wouldn't it?
I torrented Chicago 2 years ago when I was a child with my dad. It was bonding. That's it. I don't know what else to say because my mind goes blank.
Yep. I was lost. I was so lost in the sauce at that moment, and I knew I had to take that opportunity. And oh boy, did I fail at that opportunity.
I mean,
oh boy, did I drop that ball.
Ideally, there's more opportunities, but maybe this might be just the best thing to say in general because I don't know what else you would say to any Fall Out Boy because I feel that you have had your experience. I've had my experiences. I don't know what else to do.
Luckily, every band we talked to at the festival, the interviews were much better, and I had way more to say. Yes. Andy Hurley is also a quiet guy, so it's not like easy to like start and then finish the conversation when he's like, hey, thanks, man, like whatever. A lot of the bands we talked to were like, hey, we're here to chat, we're here to talk, we're here to be friendly. So a lot of these conversations you're about to listen to are very good. and I say way more than I'm Chicago.
He does. I've seen it in action. Honestly, shocking. He can articulate more, but he does it very well.
Well, yeah, those are our thoughts of the weekend. Those are our thoughts from our recap, the bands we saw, the bands we liked, the bands that disappointed the shit out of us. And now we're going to get into the bands that we definitely liked because we sat across from them and talked to them and watched all their sets. So make sure you listen to all of these. Subscribe to us over on YouTube if you want to watch the video, see their faces as they see our faces. We promised we were in the same room with them.
Yeah, you mean the same tent.
Same tent. It's a room tent. We built the tent. We built the city on emo. Subscribe.
Oh, you don't want to
support,
finish it? Okay.
like,
Okay.
comment, subscribe. We love you. When We Were Young 2024 was in the bank. It's in the box. I'm done with it. We're sick of this shit. This is the final week of it. 2025. We'll see you there.